Hardy har, it's me again, the Bargain Pirate, and welcome to another exciting adventures in game chasing, yarr! So on this exciting episode, I bought a lot. Wait, no, wait, come back. Now I know you guys are a little fed up of me just going out and buying lots and not going out there and doing adventures. But lots are an important part of a collector's life. I mean, a lot of games here, well, about 20% I bought wholesale in lots, either from friends or from people online. So I'm gonna give you guys some helpful tips for when you're buying lots. Let's go! So first up, eBay. All you have to do is type in game lots, and then you're directed to all of these great gaming compilations. You usually find a lot of the same games. You will have Super Tennis come up quite a lot for Super Nintendo lots, but there's always hidden gems now and then. The trick is to get a cheap lot, keep the games you don't own, and trade in doubles and such for trade bait, or just making a bit of scratch back, so it usually doesn't end up costing you a lot. Over in Kijiji, another website, usually a lot of the local lots are really cheap compared to other websites, but you do have to meet the person in person, and it requires cash, so it's a bit of a trade-off. Now this particular lot that I'm going to talk about, I got from a friend right before he posted it online, so I got a great price for it. Alright, so let's do a rundown of what I got in this lot. I got a copy of Super Mario Land, which is the first portable Mario game, at least on the Game Boy. Super Mario Land is a fun one because, unlike other games in the series, it doesn't really respect the Mario style of gameplay. I mean, you pop it in and you see that things are different. The physics are different, the look is different, even the bad guy's different. Instead of Bowser, this time we have evil space alien Tatanga. Remember him? Anyways, this game is mostly known nowadays for being the first appearance of Princess Daisy, who is not Princess Peach, but another completely different princess that Mario has to save. Yar. Anyways, Super Mario Land. If you collect Game Boy, this is one of your must-haves. Up next, a NES classic, Bomberman. This is the NES version, but for Game Boy Advance. It's a fun one, and if you like classic Bomberman, well, I guess this will do, right? Classic Bomberman in your pocket. And also for Game Boy Advance, we have Mario vs. Donkey Kong, which is kind of a spin-off of the Donkey Kong series and of the Mario series. But when I say Donkey Kong series, I mean the classic arcade Donkey Kong, not the Donkey Kong Country series. And oh my god, I've put way too much thought into this. But anyways, Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Good game. ESPN National Hockey Night. Now, I don't have to have the powers and gifts of ESP to know that it's yet another hockey game, but whatever. I'm gonna fill my Super Nintendo collection and get that full set one day. Yar. Disney's Tarzan, brought to you by the music of Phil Collins. And old racist stories from the 1920s. Disney's Tarzan. A fun game, platformer. I used to own it for the PlayStation. The boss fights are fun. It's got some voice acting from the movie. A lot of fun. 1080 Snowboarding. 1080 Snowboarding. Now this is a series that's really fun and notable because this is Nintendo's foray into sports games. This is a first-party game. Usually Nintendo doesn't make things for the teen crowd, but this is like extreme Nintendo trying to be cool and stuff. 1080 sports... 1080 Snowboarding, a classic from the Nintendo 64 era. Speaking of sports game, now this is a real classic, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, a really fun game. And the greatest thing about this game is you get to play as Spider-Man, and you have a bunch of costumes, and it's really great, and you get to use Spidey to go skating in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, and I mean, god, that was awesome. The only thing that was sort of like a little more awesome than this is the game itself, because Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 is probably the best Tony Hawk game. But yeah, Spider-Man. But you do need the memory pack if you want to save it. Rayman 2, The Great Escape, from Ubisoft, you know, with a big separation in the middle, Ubisoft. I gotta love that old logo. Anyways, Rayman 2, The Great Escape, a fun port of the PlayStation game. The PlayStation 2 version, Rayman 2 Arena, was very good as well. So if you're a Rayman fan, this is one of the good versions to own. A racing game, California Speed, and no, we're not talking about what you needed to do when you wanted to be a model. This is actually a racing game for the Nintendo 64 from Midway. From LucasArts, Star Wars Rogue Squadron, and I guess this will be the thing that I use to tie in with the fact that Solo, a Star Wars story, is coming out in theaters this week. Way to date my episode, huh? But anyways, Star Wars Rogue Squadron, a good entry in a bunch of good Star Wars games for the Nintendo 64, including Shadow of the Empire, which I might get sometime soon. Anyways, Rogue Squadron, a good game. And finally, for the Nintendo 64, Diddy Kong Racing, and this one I'm very happy about, because this is a Rareware game, and it's really fun to see like them doing something with the Diddy Kong character for the Nintendo 64. Apart from Donkey Kong 64, you don't really see Diddy Kong much until he comes back in Super Smash Brawl, and it's a good thing to have this game. It's a really fun game. I like it a lot. And finally, on the Nintendo DS, we have Mario vs. Donkey Kong Miniland Mayhem. This is same thing as the Mario vs. Donkey Kong from earlier, except more levels, the graphics are better. Fun game. Mario Kart DS, which is the Mario Kart game for the Nintendo DS. Followed by Mario Kart Wii, technically, but after that, Mario Kart 7 for the 3DS, and now that is one excellent title. Mario Kart 7 features some really fun races, I mean racing, like, you know, racing, not racism. Mario Kart 7 has some fun races. It's a great races game. Racing game. Mario Kart 7 is a fun racing game. It's probably the best thing before Mario Kart for the Wii U, Mario Kart 8. It's probably my favorite of the Mario Kart games because 8 has some of the difficulty taken away. I find that this is like the last big hurrah of the series before it became a little more family friendly, but a little more friendly for all players, which is fine, but this one has some tight action. I love this one. Mario Kart 7. Mario Tennis Open, another great entry in the Mario Tennis series. It's a Mario Tennis game. I mean, honestly, it's Mario and tennis. I get, you know, like, what do you need more for me to explain? Mario plays tennis. This is one that has multiplayer, and you can play as your Mii, I guess. Mario Tennis. And finally, the pièce de résistance of this episode, the most cherished thing I have today, is a copy of Pokémon HeartGold in the box. And what's cool about the in the box version, not only do I have the game and a fun instruction about the thing, I also have this, which is called a Pokewalker. And what you can do with the Pokewalker is you can synchronize it to your... what's fun with the Pokewalker is you synchronize this with your DS or 3DS, and then you put Pokemon that you have on your cartridge into this wirelessly using the infrared sensor, and then you walk around with it all day, and by walking around with it, your Pokemon gets into fights during the day, and it can level up, and you can also find items that it can hold, and when you put the Pokemon back into your game, it'll be stronger, and sometimes it'll have items and exclusive moves that you can only get using the Pokewalker. So I was really happy to get a genuine Pokewalker, so yeah. Pokewalker, Pokemon HeartGold version. Well, that was it for this episode. I hope you guys liked it. I know I just purchased something off a friend off the internet again, so I know, less adventure, but next week, we're going off on a cool adventure where we're gonna find games that I wanted as a child, but could not afford. Now I can. All the things that I saw in magazines when I was a kid in Electronic Gaming Monthly, like I'd open one of these, and I'd be, oh my god, I have to get this terrible game, or this good game, or whatever. Well, I couldn't before, you know, you had to wait for Christmas and stuff. That's what happened when you were young. You had to wait for your parents to give you the things, right? But not anymore. Now I'm gonna go out, and I'm gonna find them. So won't you join me next week where I get games that I've always wanted before, but couldn't, but now can. So I'm getting them next week on Adventures in Game Chasing. Yarr!